Hello and welcome back to another episode of White Album 2. We are currently playing through the closing chapter. So after Haruki finally managed to finish the article, the real article, on Kazusatoma, now Mari-san realizes kind of what was going on and is apologizing. It's a little bit awkward. Let's see how it continues. People have been saying the same things to me since fall 3 years ago. I could even call it part of my identity now.
実は結構動揺してるんだ。自分が結構致命的なポカをやってしまったこととか、北原の意外な過去を垣間見てしまったこととか。
前者は何も気にすることはないですし、後者はできれば気にしてほしくないんですが。
そうはいくか。お前に関してずっと引っかかってきた違和感に、ようやく一つの答えが見つかったっていうのに。
何のことですか？
言ってもいいのか？
言ってくれないとわかりません。
I should have changed the topic. Even though she's my superior, and even though I'm just a lowly part-timer, I had no need to follow protocol there and ask for clarification like a proper employee.
北原が今みたいに無理するようになったのって、東間上総が絡んでるんじゃないのか？
How distasteful. This almost borders on sexual harassment, Mari-san. No, it definitely doesn't. Are you serious? Your boss is literally just looking out for you. She's not like, oh, give me the dirty details of what your relationship was like. It's just, no. Hey, I'm really worried about you. Is this part of the reason? Haruki.
前にも言ったかもしれないけど、私には今の北原はとても危うく思える。
That's the only sarcastic reaction that could come to mind hearing what she'd said. Well, it's not a very good sarcastic reaction. You really need to be careful about that stuff.
無理してるってだけならまだしも、それが若さから来る前向きな無理に見えない。
年寄り臭いですか、俺。
精神的自滅願望があるような気がする。けど、過剰なまでの常識人としての資質が、そういうとこを覆い隠してる。
要するに、心の中では破滅を望んでるけど、もともとが真面目だからなかなか踏み切れないと。
まあ、ぶっちゃけるとそういうことになるか。
それはかっこ悪いですね、俺。
I mean, yeah, kind of, really, a lot.
ほらな、怒ってぶち切れたりしないし、いつもの北原らしく論理的に否定もしない。どうしようもなくニヤニヤ笑ってる。
Only now did I notice that the corners of my lips were curled upwards. The other side of me that was laughing at myself as I wrote the manuscript yesterday is now standing before Mari-san with an evil grin spread across my face. Even if I've already admitted it to myself, if somebody else were to see through me and hit the mark, the only thing I could possibly do is desperately deny it like a contrarian. With that, Mari-san seems to have finished what she had to say and is now simply staring intently at me. She seems to be seeking a reaction from me that's not just a hollow smile. Wow, it's almost like Setsuna waiting for you to answer her after she was talking you to the park and you just didn't say anything. He really doesn't learn. Alright, and we're gonna always save when it comes to decisions such as this. It's not that simple.
そんな単純な話じゃないんです。
北原。
So even though I can't bring myself to admit everything, I can at least swear that I'll never wear that hollow smile ever again.
心配してくれてありがとうございます。でも俺、大丈夫ですから。自分で解決できますから。
I reject Mari-san's concerns as firmly as I stare at her. Although she's figured out one half of the whole story, there's no way she could figure out the other half.
そうか。
I would have been able to get over it if it involved Kazusa alone. You could even say that her current circumstances didn't really end up being the main issue for me here.
だから、今度のことも気にしません。いえ、正直言えば、最初の原稿の時は気にしてました。
But we were a group of 3. No matter how small a fraction of our lives it was still a time when we laughed, struggled, and overcame our difficulties together. They're irreplaceable parts of our lives.
けど、自分なりに乗り越えたと思ってます。悪くなかったでしょ、あの記事。
誰が何と言おうと、最初の記事はボツで、誰が何と言おうと、今回の記事は合格だ。あれはよく書けてたよ。
Oh, that's so nice. So even if it ends up getting rejected by whatever editing department, she still approves of it, and that's really kind to say.
ありがとうございます。
That's why, even if I lose hold of those wonderful times and memories, I can't rely on someone else's power to try and get them back.
さてと、それじゃ仕事に戻る。北原はもう、今日は帰っていいわよ。お疲れ様。
少しくらい残るのはいいでしょ。浜田さんの方、明日校了だって言ってたし。
勝手にしろ。勝手にしたら？
Did she accept my decision to reject her concerns, or is she shocked to the point of speechlessness? I'm sure she's not that shocked. I mean, she's known you a while. Having finally corrected her forced tone at the last second, Mari-san finished her break and returned to her battlefield. And so, I...
さて、俺も頑張るか。あまり無理をしない程度にな。
That's good. That's a step in the right direction. Having celebrated my first job well done with a can of coffee, I immediately begin searching for new areas of conflict to serve as my battlefields.
Haruki さ、月曜ゼミに来なかったよね。私ずっと待ってたのに。
She's actually mad.
泉は火曜ゼミに来なかったな。俺ずっと待ってたのに。
2日も待ちぼうけなんて切ないじゃん。先輩たちに春樹の女やってるみたいに思われても、そっちに迷惑がかかるだろうしさ。
そうだな。月曜にサボったのは俺が悪かった。確かにそのことは謝る。
ま、お互いすれ違いを重ねても、こうしてやっと水曜に巡り会えたんだから。
で、月曜のこと先輩たちに聞いて回ったけど、お前、俺が来てないこと電話で確認しただけで、実際には顔出さなかったんだってな。
へへ、caught her.
もう、
今週ゼミに来たのは今日が初めてだというのが全員の統一見解だ。何か申し開きは？
電話かけただけでも乙女っぽくない？
I mean, she tried.
お前、本当は水曜しか来ないつもりだろ。そうなんだろ。
春樹粘着だよ。
It's Wednesday. My third study session with Izumi is about to begin, and my repertoire of dinner meals is about to run out. Given that I'd served her curry during our first session, and curry again during the second, I'd been worried about whether I'd be able to bring myself to make yet another dose of curry, albeit an extra spicy one, for this third instance. I imagine she'd just happily ask for seconds, though, even if it wouldn't exactly be the most interesting sight.
レポートはあと2回くらいで終わりそうだから、進級はなんとかなりそうだけど。泉、お前4年になったらどうするつもりなんだよ。
She's gonna do her best, I guess. Instead of worrying about what's going to happen to Izumi in the next few hours, I'm actually more worried about how she'll end up in a year. Very forward thinking.
他の連中はもうとっくに卒論のネタ探しとかやってるのに。なんだよ。
However, Izumi seems to be completely ignoring my sincere worry. Instead thinking about something I have no clue about, as she stares at me with an absent-minded expression.
はるきさ、思ったよりもほんの少し元気だね。
国文にいるやつが嘆かわしい言葉の使い方するな。俺はいつもこんなもんだ。
And what is that supposed to mean? Does he just not look ridiculously overworked and tired?
もうちょっとへこんでるかと思ったんだけどね。
意味がわからん。
Even 2 days ago. No, even if she were to have brought this out last night, I probably wouldn't have been able to understand her then either.
結構しぶといね。もうちょっと弱み見せてくれてもいいのにさ。
今度は何を言ったのかすらわからん。人と話すときはちゃんと聞こえるように喋れ。
That's true. It's a very obnoxious habit to have.
あ、
それと人と話すときはそうやって目をそらすな。どうした？
復活。
I follow Izumi's gaze and look in her direction toward the front gate of the university that I'm all too used to seeing.
杉浦。
There she is. A certain young girl who I've been seeing quite often lately is standing right in front of the gate, appearing to be waiting for someone. Angry as usual. Okay. What do we do this time? And the cast on this stage is exactly the same as the cast involved in a certain past encounter. Things should be unfolding slightly differently now compared to the past encounter, however.
来るよ。どうする？また追い払う？
So mean.
いや、いいよ。もういろいろとバレてるから。
Sugiura Koharu approaches me as she spots me, not even giving so much as a glance to Izumi as she stands beside me. It's worth mentioning that she doesn't feel troubled at all by the fact that these are the front gates of the university.
こんにちは、北原先輩。土曜はお疲れ様でした。
あの後大丈夫だったか？ちゃんと駅からタクシー拾っただろうな。
After we found Setsuna, Sugiura disappeared without me noticing. That's why I couldn't even confirm if she made it onto the last train.
ご心配なく、きちんと無事に何事もなく帰宅しました。
そっか。ならいい。
まあ、タクシー代はすごいことになりましたけどね。
Oh no! Since she's right here in front of me, completely safe and sound though, I'm currently relieved of yet another thing I've been worrying about since that day.
ねえ、ちょっと。
すいませんが先輩、少し二人きりで話したいことがあるんですが。
Chiaki's getting so left out.
うおーい。
It's fine if that's all she wants, though I can't help but feel that I'll get to something new to worry about today.
時間は取らせません。ほんの5分でいいです。
おう。
Sugiura stares at me stubbornly. Rather than say that she's taking an unfriendly attitude with me, though, I think it's more appropriate to chart her current behavior as an intentional attempt to avoid Izumi. I mean, that's fair, she did get lied to by her. Well, it's not like I don't understand how she feels. After all, she did end up believing the story Izumi made up last time.
その、泉、悪いけど。
私捨てて付属の子に走るんだね。春樹ってやっぱり色男で年下殺しで犯罪者で。
Oh no!
もう二度とレポートなんて見てやんねえ。とっとと帰れ、後輩。
冗談だって。コンビニで時間潰してくるから迎えに来てね。それじゃあどうぞごゆっくり。
見たか？あれが前君が疑ってた俺の彼女の正体だ。
本当はすごく面白い人だったんですね。あまりそばにいてほしいタイプじゃありませんが。
She just had to put that in there, huh? Well, given that she's someone who's even more stubborn than I am, it's only natural that she wouldn't really get along well with someone who lies a lot and is irresponsibly happy-go-lucky. I mean, Haruki, to be fair, you are 50% of those things, so...
で、喫茶店にでも行くか。ここで立ち話ってのもなんだし。
You don't have time for that. Izumi's literally waiting at the convenience store.
ここで結構です。大した話でもないので。お友達を待たせてもかわいそうですから。
Yeah, really?
そっか、わかった。
Still, well, I should say that the fact she's still capable of being considerate toward Izumi, as well as the fact that she simply recognizes her as only a friend of mine, are great steps in the right direction.
何？
思ったよりちょっとは元気みたいですね。もっと落ち込んでるかと思ってました。
That's the second person to say that today.
またか。
え？
Their expressions are exactly the same. I'm sure this girl will be enrolling in the literature department next year too.
まあ、みんな無事だったし、騒いだ割には全然拍子抜けで終わったし。
無事だったのは彼女一人だけです。後の人たちは先輩の大騒動に巻き込まれて大変な目に遭ってましたよ。
ああ。
パーティー会場のお店の人は脅されるし、幹事さんは全員に連絡取らされるし、挙句の果てにお友達まで巻き込んで。
Yeah, that's fair.
わざわざ付属から徒歩1分もかけて言いたいことはそれだけか。
When I'm with her, no matter how much our relationship improves, our blunt conversations never seem to change.
先輩を叱りに来ました。
Heh.
もう何度も叱られてる。
See, exactly what I thought you'd say. I almost said that out loud, since I saw it coming miles away.
今までみたいに細かいことじゃないです。先輩の性根を叩き直しに来たんです。
ほんと、怖いもの知らずだな、杉浦は。
自分でもそう思いますけど、今度ばかりは黙っていられなかったんです。
この数日間で君が黙ったことなんか見たことないけどな。
ちょっと黙っててください。話があるのはこっちですよ。
If she had said something like that to me 3 years ago, our conversation probably wouldn't go anywhere, no matter how long we talked afterward. Since I've grown, I'll act like an adult and step back a little in order to balance things out.
学園祭のビデオを見ました。
またか。
Ever since Kazusa got a bit of recognition, everyone seems to be talking about that video.
それに、おみそから先輩たちの話聞きました。主に付属時代のことしか知らないみたいでしたけど。
Yeah, he is not in the loop.
なんでそんなこと。
I don't want to be reminded of that event. No, it's just something that I don't need to be reminded of, since it's carved so deep into my mind. Well, maybe you need to process it with some people, Haruki, since the last 2 years haven't been doing you any favors.
おせっかいだと思います？私もそう思います。
No, you're just being a friend. This is good.
自覚あるなら。
先輩こそ自覚あるなら、いつまであんな態度でいるつもりなんですか？
何が？
学園祭ではあんなに楽しそうだったのに、すごくいい雰囲気だったのに。
This is bad.
どうして今の二人はあんなことになってるんですか？
To think that the last person I wanted to know about the details of that event now knows something about it. This is probably among the top 5 mistakes I've ever made in my life. Really? The top 5? You've never made any biggest mistakes? I could think of at least 10 that you've made.
関係ないとか興味ないとか強がってるけど、本当はものすごく気にかけてたじゃないですか。彼女が危険だったらなりふり構わないじゃないですか。
If I knew she was going to use my weakness like this, I would rather become that girl's endless source of free school lunch.
そ んなに未練タラタラでいながら彼女のことを諦めるなんて納得できません。今別れてしまったら絶対にダメです。
And here's where Koharu oversteps. Like, friendly concern, 1000%. Saying, oh, you guys can't break up, you're so good together. No. Either help him process his breakup, or just be like, hey, do you want to be with her? And then go from there. Do not try to push a relationship onto people.
あのな、いや。
Although I think she's overstepping her boundary into someone else's life, I didn't expect her to overstep this far. Instead of making me lose my temper, it actually made me let out a sigh.
あのさ、杉浦。
何ですか？
言ってることはともかく、今の君のスタンスは絶対に間違ってると思うぞ。
先輩がいくら正論で逃げようとしても、私の意見を変えるつもりはありませんから。
俺のこと、どっちかといえば嫌いだろ。なのになんで？
先輩なんかのためじゃありません。
じゃあ一体誰の？
Oh, I completely forgot.
だって泣いてたじゃないですか。彼女泣いてたじゃないですか。
Come to think of it, she has met Setsuna before. She found her waiting for the last train in front of the ticket gate all by herself. Setsuna had been right before her very eyes as her gaze was downcast, not appearing to have had any inclination of heading home, as she was simply left behind by the surrounding crowd.
私、そういうの我慢できないんです。お互いが好きなら、うまくいってくれないと困るんです。
困るって。
だって自分なら、好きな相手に冷たい態度取られるのは我慢できません。
And this is very true. Haruki is way too cold. If you're just cold because you're not interested and it went awry, that's fine, I guess. But the fact that Haruki so desperately wants to be with her again and still is acting cold? No, that's just dumb. In a way, she's butting in for a very selfish reason.
しかも相手が本当は自分のことをまだ好きでいてくれるなんて知ったら余計に辛すぎてどうしたらいいか分かりません。
In order to defend her own perspective, she even resorts to involving someone who's involved with someone who's acquainted with her own best friend. Wow, that is a mouthful.
だから先輩も諦めないでほしいんです。もし彼女に直接会うのがまだ辛いんだったら、私が間に入っても。
It's very meddlesome.
で、ちょっと待て。全くの無関係者だろ、杉浦は。
How would that even happen? Be like, hi, I'm a high school friend of his. He wants to talk to you. Like, how embarrassing is that?
友達のお姉さんです。行方探しだってしました。それに、バイト先の先輩の彼女です。
What kind of twisted logic is that? If someone else were to tell me the same thing, I'd probably lose my temper and argue back.
ついでに、私のためでもあります。
なんで？
もし先輩の心の重荷が取れたら、今みたいにひねくれた先輩じゃなくて、もう少し私に優しい先輩になってくれると思うから。
Oh, that's a really sad thing to say. Maybe you'll be nice to me.
あのな。
What a roundabout way to put it. And at the same time, what a useless and meaningless grand plan this is.
なんてやつだ、君は。
怒りますか？
で、もういい。好きにしてくれ。
I'm not even surprised anymore.
今度はなんだよ。
Sugiura stares at me as I yield and relaxes her frowned eyebrows.
やっぱり少しだけ立ち直りかけてるみたいですね。よかった。ちょっと心配してたのは本当なんですよ。
立ち直りかけてる？俺が？
だって今日は私と同じレベルで言い争いしないですから。
あ。
She opens her mouth slightly and shows a mischievous smile. Oh, it's so cute.
杉浦、もしかしてそれを確かめるためにわざと俺を挑発したのか？
まさか全部本気で言ってますよ。
ああ、そうなんだ。
Even when she changes her attitude, it's very different from a certain strategist I know. She makes it feel much more natural.
とりあえずこれで説教は終わりです。
説教ね。
If I knew this would happen, I would have seriously dragged her to a coffee house by force. I can only imagine the misunderstandings, suppositions, and delusions our strange argument has instilled in the minds of the hundreds of university and high school students who have passed through this school gate. I mean, it's not like you were screaming out or anything. I'm sure it's fine.
さっき言ったことに嘘はありません。これからも先輩がうじうじしてたら、私本当におみそさんに会いに行きますよ。
わかったわかった。とりあえず気持ちだけ受け取っとく。
But now, I don't really care if people misunderstand.
そこまで豪語するんなら、ちゃんと結果を見せてくださいよ。
Probably because I've been affected by Sugiura's overly frank, annoying kindness.
それじゃあ俺行くから。人待たせてるし。
はい、お疲れ様でした。私も帰ります。
I didn't tell her that I'd do it, but I didn't tell her that I wouldn't either. Oh, Haruki logic. I hate that logic. With that, the possibility is not zero yet. And if that's the case, I guess I don't have to raise my voice just because my heart is irritated.
あ、先輩？
え
？As my mind drifts to events that happened in the past, I hear a cheerful voice calling out to me from behind.
私、今週は土日ともバイト入れてます。先輩がうるさいんで、とりあえず2日とも早番です。
それが？
それだけです。じゃ
Oh,
あ。
she wanted a better reaction than so. What was that all about? Haruki, you dull, dull pencil. Is she telling me not to come? Or maybe... Dumb as a doorknob, this boy.
ね
ん？
え、さっきの子、いつの間に仲良くなったの？
まあひょんなことからっていうか、ちょっとした誤解がきっかけっていうか。
誤解？
誰かが自分のこと俺の彼女って吹聴したらしくてな。それでいろいろあって。
蒸し返すね。やっぱ春樹って粘着？ベッドの上でもやたらしつこいとか？
Can you imagine?
ああ言えばこういう。
春樹のためを思って悪役に徹したのに、こういうのをはしごを外されるって言うんだよね。
誰も感謝してないとか余計なお世話だとか空気読めよとか使えないやつだなとか、そんなこと一言も言ってないだろ。
Well, now you've said it.
しかも恩をあだで返されてる？
冗談だ。泉には感謝してるけど、まああの件だけは無駄だったな。
春樹のためになれない女切り売りしたのに、ここまで報われないとかえって女っぽいよね。
ああ、もう全面的に謝るからこの話題やめてくれ。
Izumi is just like her usual self, making herself perfectly at home in my apartment, except her complaints sound harsher than normal today.
まあでもさ、やっぱちょっと変わったよね、春樹。
そっか、どこがだよ。
私以外の女に対しても拒否反応出なくなってるし。
That is true. He's getting a little closer to Koharu, a little closer to Mari-san. Having the different friends and different experiences and different perspectives are so important when trying to get over a traumatic experience. It really, really is.
それは
落ち込んでたところを誰かに励ましてもらった？だから女に対しての苦手意識が薄れてるのかな？
別に落ち込むことなんか何もなかった。
She is the least feminine woman I know, and yet she's the one with the sharpest intuition of a woman.
ああ、つまらん。子供に親離れされてくのってこんな感じなのかな。
だから何もなかったって。
But is that really the case? Does it really seem like I changed a little from another's perspective? I'll let you be the judge, dear listener. I certainly think you started. So, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Closing Chapter, and I'll see you soon with the next episode. Until then, I hope you take care. See you!